On August 29, 2025, the U.S. Supreme Court delivered a landmark decision that sent shockwaves through the world of international commerce. In a move that few had anticipated, the justices blocked most of the tariffs imposed by former President Trump, a policy that had defined his administration's approach to global trade for years. This decision directly challenged the very foundation of Trump's trade strategy, which relied heavily on tariffs as a tool to protect American industries and pressure foreign governments. The ruling, both surprising in its timing and sweeping in its impact, has thrown the global business community into a state of uncertainty. Companies that had spent years adapting to the tariffs now face a rapidly changing landscape, unsure of what rules will govern their operations tomorrow. Stock markets around the world reacted with immediate volatility. Investors scrambled to adjust their portfolios, while currency traders rushed to assess the implications for the dollar and other major currencies. The uncertainty rippled through financial centers from New York to London to Shanghai. Many had expected the conservative majority court to side with the administration, given its past deference to executive power, but in a striking turn, the justices reinforced the constitutional limits on presidential authority, emphasizing that even the highest office must operate within the boundaries set by law. The ruling has ignited a nationwide and even global conversation about who truly holds the power to set the economic rules that shape our world. Lawmakers, business leaders, and ordinary citizens alike are now debating the future of American trade policy and the balance of power between the branches of government. For the global economy, which is still struggling to recover from the disruptions of the pandemic, this new unpredictability adds another layer of complexity. Businesses must now navigate not only shifting consumer demand and supply chain challenges, but also a rapidly evolving legal environment. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: the Supreme Court's decision has set the stage for a dramatic new chapter in American trade policy, one that will be watched closely by governments, businesses, and citizens around the world in the months and years to come. To truly understand the Supreme Court's recent ruling, we need to step back and examine the broader context of Donald Trump's economic strategy, which was defined by his bold America First approach. This strategy wasn't just about policy, it was about reshaping the very foundation of how the United States engaged with the global economy. At the heart of Trump's economic vision were tariffs, taxes placed on imported goods. For Trump, tariffs were not just a technical tool, but a powerful symbol of American strength and independence. He believed that by imposing tariffs, the U.S. could protect its workers, revive struggling industries, and send a clear message to trading partners that America would no longer tolerate what he saw as unfair trade practices. Tariffs work by making foreign goods more expensive, which in theory encourages consumers and businesses to buy American-made products instead. This, Trump argued, would help local industries grow stronger and more competitive while reducing the nation's reliance on imports. Trump's administration targeted trade deficits, the gap between what America imports and exports, by encouraging companies to manufacture more goods at home. He frequently visited factories, touting the benefits of bringing jobs back to American soil and highlighting products proudly stamped with "Made in USA." The first major tariffs were placed on steel and aluminum, industries Trump saw as vital to national security. But the policy quickly expanded, affecting a wide range of goods from electronics to agricultural products. Countries like China, Canada, and Mexico became primary targets, as Trump sought to renegotiate trade deals and assert American interests. However, not everyone agreed with this aggressive approach. Critics warned that tariffs would ultimately hurt American consumers by driving up prices on everyday goods from groceries to electronics. There were also fears of a global trade war, as other countries retaliated with their own tariffs on American exports. Small businesses, in particular, felt the squeeze. Unlike large corporations, they often lacked the resources to absorb higher costs or find alternative suppliers. Many struggled to keep their shelves stocked and their prices competitive, leading to tough choices, and, in some cases, layoffs. The debate over tariffs quickly became one of the most heated economic conflicts of Trump's presidency. On one side were advocates of protectionism, who argued that strong borders and tough trade policies were essential for national prosperity. On the other were supporters of free trade, who warned that isolationism could backfire and damage America's global standing. For Trump and his supporters, tariffs were more than just economic levers. They were a rallying cry for a new, assertive American identity. The policy was wrapped in patriotic imagery and promises to restore American greatness, resonating deeply with many voters in manufacturing regions. Despite ongoing criticism from economists and business leaders, Trump maintained that his tariff strategy was working. He pointed to new jobs in certain industries and argued that tough negotiations were necessary to secure better deals for American workers and companies. Now, with the Supreme Court's decision, the future of this strategy hangs in the balance. The ruling raises fundamental questions about who holds the power to shape America's trade policy and whether the bold, unilateral approach of America First can endure in a system built on checks and balances. The Supreme Court's decision wasn't about the economic impact of tariffs, but about presidential authority. The court ruled that Trump overstepped by using the International Emergency Economic Powers Act for tariffs. The power to tax and regulate commerce belongs to Congress, not the president. The court emphasized that major economic actions require clear congressional authorization. The ruling reinforces the separation of powers, affirming Congress's role in economic policy. It serves as a reminder that no single branch holds absolute power in the U.S. government. The Supreme Court's decision marked a pivotal moment in the ongoing debate over U.S. trade policy, but it didn't invalidate all Trump-era tariffs. Instead, the ruling drew a clear line between different types of levies, leaving some in place while striking down others. This nuanced outcome has left many industries and policymakers scrambling to understand the new landscape. Specifically, tariffs that were imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, often referred to as IEPA, were nullified by the court. This includes the so-called Liberation Day tariffs, which had targeted a range of imported goods in response to perceived economic threats. The court found that these particular tariffs exceeded the authority granted by the act. As a result, reciprocal tariffs on major trading partners like China, Canada, and Mexico were also struck down. These tariffs had been a major point of contention in international negotiations, and their removal is expected to ease some tensions, though uncertainty remains about future trade relations. However, not all tariffs were affected. Those imposed on steel and aluminum, which were justified under a different legal authority, specifically Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, remain firmly in place. These measures were originally enacted on the grounds of national security, and the court's decision did not address their validity. This distinction is crucial for industries that rely heavily on these materials, such as construction, automotive manufacturing, and infrastructure development. For these sectors, the continued tariffs mean higher costs and ongoing uncertainty about supply chains and pricing. The ruling highlights just how complex U.S. trade law can be and underscores the importance of having a clear legal justification for imposing tariffs. Legal experts are now poring over the decision to determine its broader implications for future trade actions and executive authority. The American economy now faces a fractured trade landscape, with some industries benefiting from the removal of certain tariffs, while others continue to operate under the weight of ongoing levies. This patchwork approach has created both opportunities and challenges for businesses across the country. As some protectionist measures disappear, others remain firmly in place, continuing to shape the flow of goods and the dynamics of global commerce. The future of U.S. trade policy remains uncertain, and all eyes are now on how lawmakers and the administration will respond to this evolving situation. Trump's reaction to the Supreme Court's decision was swift and defiant. He denounced the ruling as politically motivated, despite appointing 3 of the justices. Trump insisted his tariffs would remain, contradicting the court's decision. The White House echoed his defiance, claiming the president lawfully protected American workers. The administration warned of catastrophic outcomes if tariffs were struck down, revealing the high stakes of its trade policy. With the Supreme Court's decision, the question is, what happens now? The ruling takes effect in October, giving the administration time to react. Options are limited to political or legislative solutions. Experts suggest seeking congressional authority for tariffs or finding new legal statutes. Small businesses face uncertainty, hoping for relief but unable to plan. The government may need to repay collected tariffs, impacting the U.S. Treasury. International relations are in flux, with trade deals potentially needing revision. The ruling could lead to cooperation or escalate tensions, transforming the global economic order. The Supreme Court ruling affects everyone, not just legal experts or financial analysts. Americans could see lower prices on goods if tariffs are removed, boosting purchasing power. Industries relying on imports may benefit, while those protected by tariffs face competition. The decision prompts a national conversation on supporting American jobs. Internationally, the ruling could boost sales and ease diplomatic tensions. It signals the U.S. judicial system's role in checking protectionist policies. The outcome will shape the global economic landscape for years to come.